Everybody, I'm Grandmaster Ben Finegold here with 5 Minutes with Ben, or maybe 25 Minutes with Ben. You know, it's all the same thing. Today we're doing World Championship recap. We might be taking a break the next few days because Karen and I are going to play in a poker tournament at Cherokee, North Carolina. So I'm not sure I'll be doing recaps the next 4 days. But yeah, one of the days is a rest day. And then, you know, you wake up one day and you go to sleep. So it's like 2 days. Anyway, if you didn't get that Seinfeld reference, let's look at the game. Gukesh is white. Ding Liren is black. They played a new opening again. Knight F3, D5, G3. So we haven't seen this yet. G6. And they transpose into like a symmetrical kind of Grunfeld. And of course, here white can play c takes d5, c takes d5. There's a lot of theory in this line. White chose a move that's not played very often. It's played by German Grandmaster Rasmus Svane or Svan or Svane. I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name. Svane. He plays it all the time, especially in Title Tuesday. And that move is Rook E1. And based on the fact that Ding Liren took 28 minutes here, I guess he doesn't know the move Rook E1. It's not very common, but it's played occasionally. Ding Liren played an unusual move. He took on C4. And in this position, typically white plays A4, stopping black from playing B5, and then something like knight A3 and take the pawn back, so forth. But very quickly, Gukesh played E4. This is a novelty in my database. I don't have any games with E4. And it doesn't seem like it gives white much of an advantage, but the fact that black doesn't know what's going on, and this is prep from Gukesh, means Gukesh has won the opening battle. Although the position's not like much better, but it has a lot more time on his clock. Okay, Ding played bishop g4. That's one of the fine moves. Another good move is knight a6. Then eventually black wants to play b5 and try to hold on to his extra pawn. Knight bd2 was played quickly by Gukesh. And in this position, the engine plays b5 and says black is a little bit better. But of course, this is prep from Gukesh. He's going to continue to play quickly. Ding got Gukesh out of his preparation by playing the move c5. And now, for the first time in the game, Gukesh thought for a while. Probably doesn't know the move c5. And it's very Grunfeld-esque, playing c5. Looks like a Grunfeld and a Benoni. d5, that's the best move. e6, attacking the center. h3, getting the two bishops. What else? Takes, 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 takes. And in this position, if black decides to play knight takes d5, then white can play knight takes c4, and there's too much pressure on the diagonal here. And black is actually in trouble here. So Ding didn't do that. Ding played knight bd7, knight takes c4, and we have a position where white's slightly better with the two bishops and past d-pawn, and black has all his pieces out and castled, and black gets counterplay by playing the move b5. Gukesh played the correct move, knight a3, queen b6. Again, white's slightly better. White has two bishops past d-pawn. Black's pretty active. Bishop f4, rook fe8, queen d2, rook a d8. These moves are all good. Knight c2 is good. Now in this position, after both sides, I think, playing very well, here black made a mistake. Yeah, I'll call it a mistake. This position, black should trade on e1 and then play the move knight e8, which unleashes the latent potential of his bishop. And also the knight can go to d6, blockading the pawn. So that would give black close to equality according to the engine. But instead he played knight f8. Looks like he's trying to take advantage of the pinned d-pawn and play something like knight e6. Okay, and white played the best move after very long thought, b4. Black's like, I'll take a pass pawn, thank you, c4. And then bishop e3, which the engine doesn't like. The engine just wants to play rook a d1 and says white is better. But he played bishop e3 attacking the queen. The queen can go anywhere. Queen went to a6. Ding had a very specific line in mind where eventually he would get counterplay against a2, although that's pretty dangerous. Bishop d4, and then Ding plays his line. Rook takes e1, rook takes e1. Queen takes a2. The engine doesn't like this for black. The queen's getting almost trapped there. And in this position, white played rook a1. And now, according to the engine, black should play c3. And Ding didn't think at all in this position. Ding thought 5 seconds and took on a2. Then here he thought 4 seconds and played queen b3. But actually, c3 is the better move according to the engine. Bishop takes c3, queen c4, and black has counterplay against d5, and black's queen is easily escaping, and the engine says this is about equal. Queen takes c3 is another move. Also, queen d3 is a move. Queen d3, queen b3, this is a line also. But, okay, Ding played queen b3, sort of the normal move. Rook a3, the queen has to go to b1, king g2. That queen's looking almost trapped, but we can't really get it. Rook d7, defending the a pawn, although it's attacked twice. Rook a5, Gukesh wants the b pawn. That makes sense. Queen b3, they repeated, always repeat. And Gukesh plays for the win. Rook takes b5. White has a serious advantage due to black's terrible knight on f8. Queen d3. The engine wants to play bishop e3, which is a hard move to play, retreating your bishop and defending your queen. He played a more active move, queen f4. Queen takes c2, bishop takes f6, queen f5. And Gukesh has an excellent position here. Here he made a slight mistake. He should play bishop g5, and white has all the trumps, 2 bishops, past d-pawn, active rook. Black's knight on f8 isn't very good. Excuse me. But instead, he took the queen, which ruins black's pawn structure, but more importantly, it gives the knight a way out to g6 and then back, into the game somehow. So that actually helped black. And the engine wants to keep pieces on, keep the 2 bishops and play bishop g5, but Gukesh traded. And after these 2 minor mistakes, taking on f5 and g7, seems like black is in the drawing zone. Rook c5, knight g6, white's a pawn ahead, knight e5, there's a good knight. Knight c6, you can't take the knight because your rook is hanging. So he played rook f4, knight e7, b5, king to f6. And this position should probably be a draw with correct play. And in this position, thinking no time at all, even though there's a 30-second increment, so I know Ding Liren had at least 30 seconds. He blundered the game away on move 40. He should play knight c8 and then put the knight on d6 again, as he should have in the previous, another variation where he should have played knight e8 to d6. And then the game should be a draw with black having a great blockade. Instead, he moved his king up the board, which looks good, excuse me, but unfortunately, it allows rook h4, and now black is actually in trouble. If black plays rook d6 defending his h-pawn, which was probably his plan, then we can play rook a4, and if rook d7, play rook a6. And one way or another, black's going to lose the h-pawn or not win the d-pawn. So he just took on d5, takes on h6. White has excellent winning chances here. White's a pawn up, and white has the passed h-pawn, and black has the doubled isolated pawns. So excellent winning chances for white. Knight c3, rook c6. You can't take the pawn because rook c5 check wins the knight. So Ding played knight e4. And in this position, white has a couple of good moves. Rook a6 is okay, but just h4 and get that h-pawn going. And the engine says white's +3. So white has a winning position. Instead, he played king e1, which is not a good move. And then black played f6. Always play f6. Wait, never play f6. f6, not the best move, but it's okay. h4, rook d3, and in this position, Gukesh threw away the win. He should play king e2, and white has excellent winning chances with his passed h-pawn. Instead, he played bishop d1. Not sure why he retreated his bishop to d1. Now, black can play energetically and draw the game. Plays f4. Without the bishop on f3, defended by the king, we have tremendous pressure here on the g3 square, and we'd like to play g4, but that doesn't give white an advantage after rook h3. Now black's threatening the pawn, and if white plays h5, black plays f3, always play f3, especially after f6. Now who's winning? Black's threatening rook h1 checkmate. Also strong after h5 would be rook check and f3 check. And the king has to release from the bishop. Although it's probably better to play f3 here. Always play f3. Okay, so white can't play g4 and have winning chances, and white can't lose his pawn for nothing and just have equal pawns. So he played g takes f4 check, king takes. Obviously, black's king is more advanced than white's, and the pawn on h4, which was protected by the g pawn, is now isolated, and occasionally it could be captured. F pawn's isolated. White has 3 isolated pawns, and black has the better king, so black should draw the game now. Bishop c2, rook d5, attacking the b pawn and stopping the h pawn. Rook c4, black must play f5, but that's good enough. White wants to defend the b pawn, so plays rook b4. King f3, advancing the king further. Maybe black wants to take on f2 at some point. Bishop d1 check. Black goes in for a queen. He's going to promote his king. King g2, king g1, promoted to a queen. Check, and black wins. What's that? Kings can't promote to queens? What do you know? Okay, there's some burglar in my house, and he's telling me, no, you can't do that. Okay, rook b3. Stopping the black king from moving back towards the h-pawn. Rook e5, the only drawing move. Otherwise, black's lost. Now black threatens all kinds of discovered double, triple checks with knight takes f2 check, for example. Knight c5 check looks good too. Oops, I went back by mistake. Okay, so white played f4, attacking the rook. If white plays rook e3, which is sort of the obvious move, then you lose your b pawn and it's equal material. So in this position, white played f4, then rook e3. Now you can't take the b pawn because your rook's not there. Rook h7, trying to take the h pawn. h5, save the h pawn. Knight f6, I want the h pawn. Now you can't protect the h pawn. So he wins the f pawn instead. And we're getting to very few pawns on the board, which means it's going to be a draw. And in this position, white missed the last chance to make the game interesting. White could play f5, takes f6. Probably the safest thing for black to do is to go into rook and bishop versus rook. And this is a book draw. Gukesh knows it's a draw. Ding knows it's a draw. So probably both players didn't want to test each other out in this theoretical endgame. So Gukesh tried to win another way. He played bishop a4, keeping his 2 pawns instead of losing both of them. King f3. King f4, knight e4, and now I'm just going to win one of the pawns or both of them. The white king isn't playing in the game. The black king is very active. The black knight's very active. The bishop is sitting here, terrible on a4, defending the pawn. So easy draw for black. Bishop c2, knight d6. King e5, excellent move. Knight f7, also excellent. And game ended quickly in a draw by trading everything. And draw by insufficient material. So that was the longest game of the match in terms of number of moves and amount of time taken. That game took about 5 hours and 20 minutes. And also it was 72 moves. So good defense from Ding. Gukesh was winning in the end game. Couldn't quite put it together. Another draw. The match is at least halfway through. That was game 7. Game 8's tomorrow. Ding has white. Probably I'm not doing a recap, but it's possible. Possible I'll do a recap if the game ends early enough. I'm Grandmaster Ben Finegold. Thanks for watching 5 or 25 minutes with Ben. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment. It helps the channel out tremendously. And I'll see you guys next time with more 5 minutes with Ben. Bye.